Well, welcome everybody. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're here to discuss cloud innovation, cyber threats and trends with Erez Baum, Senior Director of Lyve Labs Israel, Seagate Innovation Center, and Eyal Moshe, CEO of Tel Aviv-based cybersecurity firm, Hub Security. We'll start our webinar with a brief introduction to our speakers, and then I'll hand over the stage to Erez Baum and Eyal Moshe for a quick introduction. At the end, we'll hold a short Q&A to wrap everything up. I'm joined here now by Erez Baum. Hello, Erez.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here.
Erez has more than 25 years of experience transforming innovative ideas to mass market products for both F100 companies and early stage startups. He has led Sandus Retail Business Innovation Group and founded 2 AI startups. Welcome, Erez.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We're also joined by Eyal Moshe, CEO of Hub Security. Hello, Eyal.
Hi.
Nice to see you again. Eyal is the co-founder and CEO of Hub, a military-grade hardware security firm built by ex-IDF 200 unit security experts. He's a former executive at CA Software, heading a division, and the co-founder of Blingy and Planet Soho. Welcome, Eyal.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. So first off, I want to say that if anybody has any questions for the panelists, you can enter them into the Q&A section below or in the chat, and we'll get to them at the end of the session. Welcome to everyone who's still joining. So first off, I wanted to congratulate Erez and everyone at Seagate for launching Lyve Labs Israel in Tel Aviv. Mazal tov, it's a big accomplishment and a big step in the right direction for cloud security and secure data management.
Yeah, it is. We're very excited and proud about what we've built in Israel. Maybe I'll start with a couple of words about Seagate. I know everyone knows the name a little bit, but also when I joined Seagate, I was surprised about what this company is. So just 2 sentences. There are 3 main pillars for modern computing and all the infrastructure that we're relying on. One is networking, one is computing, and one is storage. And Seagate is a leader in the storage. It is shipping today something like, and I'm going to use some terms that maybe people don't know, but I'll try to make people understand. Seagate is shipping today something like 1.5 exabyte of storage a day. Okay, so exabyte is a number that is like a million terabytes. It's like 1,000 petabytes. It's like all these numbers that are unimaginable. But think of it this way: almost half your picture in the cloud today are stored on Seagate devices. So to make this happen, a lot of innovation needs to happen, and that's why Seagate opened the Innovation Center in Israel. I don't know how many people know, but there is a lot of data management and storage-related innovation coming from Israel. And actually, what we opened here in Israel is the first innovation center, such innovation center Seagate opened outside of the US. So we launched in February. Our main goal is to learn from the ecosystem, from entrepreneurs, from companies, and to translate these learnings into Seagate products. Okay, the world, everyone promised us a very simple world where you have put everything in one place and then it's all solved for you. The world is very complex. The architecture is a hybrid, very complex. Data is generated in huge amounts in different places, needs to be moved, needs to be managed, needs to be secured along the way and addressed. And we want to learn what kind of problems people are challenged with and take this into Seagate and create the product and the solution they need. That's the main reason for our partnership with the Israeli ecosystem.
Oh, that's great. Maybe to give everyone some context, can you expand a bit on what led you to partner with Hub Security as part of the new initiative?
Certainly. So as I mentioned, the challenge of data management when it becomes a complex scenario is mainly about securing the data. When we look at what's happening even today in the COVID-19 time, where everyone is working from afar in all the small offices, and the data lines are becoming very long. Not only much more data is generated, you need to protect it, and the challenges are very, very complex. So we looked at Hub Security as a partner that can help us not only experiment and test how we can come with solutions on securing data that is at rest in big data centers, but also when we talk about the edge and how to move data from the edge to the core. How do you do that? How do you exchange the keys? How do you make sure if no data get lost, and if it get lost, it is secured and nobody can look at it? And we believe Hub Security is a great partner to help us find the answer to these questions.
Well, to give a little bit of an expansion on your answer and what you just said, as a huge global tech company, what would you say the main industries that you're looking to partner with at the new Innovation Center in Tel Aviv?
We actually coined a term called data sphere developers. We are looking for people who are trying to either manage or create large amounts of data in a complex environment. When we say large, we talk of data which is at the petabyte scale, right? Terabytes is what you have today on a single disk drive. You have something like 16 terabytes, which is a lot of data. But when you think about it, there are many environments in AI and IoT that they create this amount of data every day, okay? So we look for these people who are either generating or going to generate a lot of data, and or are going to help us create solutions to manage large amounts of data. Specifically, when you look at what kind of verticals are relevant, it is in autonomous vehicles, smart cities, financials, Industry 4.0, anything to do with factories. It's a huge expansion of data, IoT, digital health, and there are many more. So these kind of verticals are all generating huge amounts of data, which are very sensitive. You need to adhere to privacy rules, and you need to talk about geographies, and you need to know how to move a lot of data effectively, what you can keep at the edge, what you need to move quickly, what can be moved slower. So we are partnering with companies that are either creating solution to manage a lot of data or generating themselves a lot of data, what we call data sphere developers.
Definitely, as the data proliferates, it also is more at risk. The industry requires solutions that can safeguard against data breaches and such threats. Definitely important. Eyal, I'm going to ask this question to both of you, but as you both know, we're in the midst of a global pandemic. Has the onset of COVID-19 changed the focus or objectives of either of your companies? I'd like to hear from Eyal first.
Hi, so thank you for having me, and hi everyone. I think the general atmosphere in the market in general, due to the coronavirus, has changed significantly, and we're feeling quite a surge in terms of clients approaching, and the industry is either hackers are bored at home, or these are sovereign nations being more active because they can. Maybe people are not in data centers, or they're not at work doing what they should be. People are taking advantage of the situation, and we're lucky to, I would say, enjoy quite a lot of approaches from clients that want to get some help, whether it's from um, working remotely, whether from home or from other places. In general, to safe keep their core business, or in general their business. So yeah, I think a lot of businesses are encountering new set of challenges right now, and we're happy to help them. And we're feeling the urgency in the market, and we're making a big effort to comply with this urgency and try to help as many clients as we can.
Eyal, as an experienced founder and CEO, how did you choose to work with Seagate, and what are the benefits of working with a global company's innovation center?
So I think first and foremost is the people. We really enjoy working with the people at Seagate, and the team is amazing, especially the team in Tel Aviv. So I think this is a big thing, at least for us. And as an entrepreneur, this is it's always around people. That's the first and most important thing. And we see a lot of advantages working with a big company that have resources that we as a small company don't have. They have experience. They have a lot of opportunities that we're not even exposed to, and we're learning a lot. I can definitely say that during this partnership, we're learning a lot from Seagate and from the team. Processes are very much in order. Things are working in a steady pace, and we're enjoying that a lot.
Yeah, Erez, as you know, startups have a lot of challenges when they get to Seagate, probably from resources to funding. And there's also a constant ticking clock to show deliverables, to show results. Where does the Innovation Center come into helping startups like Hub Security manage these challenges?
Yeah, that's we are the bridge, right, between startups and big companies. I've been personally on both sides of this. Half of my career was an entrepreneur, and the other half working on corporate innovation. And I experienced this from both sides. It's very difficult for a company, like for a large organization, to work with a startup. And it's very difficult the other way around also. And the main reason is that they work in different time frames, right? A startup needs to have decision made quickly, needs visibility, and a big organization is running a lot of things in parallel. Think of it like different, working on different time scale completely. So we're trying to be in the middle, so to be able to provide to the startup immediate answer, immediate response, and also clarity in terms of the decision-making process in organization. Most organizations, it's unclear to startups, who is making the decision? Is this a really yes or not really, or a no that is polite? And we're bridging the culture, we're bridging the time differences, and we're bridging the understanding of, just our main goal is for startup not to waste any time, which is, as you said, the most expensive resources startup has. So we're trying to make sure that if there is nothing to be done, the startups know immediately. If there is a chance of collaboration and working together, yes, we'll make it happen. We'll spend the time instead of the startup. We actually will invest some resources locally. We do have a local lab. So a lot of the POCs can be done in the lab in Israel. You don't need to go outside. I don't need to travel. Actually, in the COVID-19 time where travel is not allowed, I actually think that working with a local lab and a local innovation center is probably the best way of conducting business. So we find ourselves really helping startup making decisions and moving quickly, save a lot of time, save a lot of effort, and actually talking to the startups in their own language and inside the organization in its own language is our job. So far, I can tell you from the even like couple of months we have been operating and working with startups, it is already clear to us that we saved, I would say we saved already more than half a year of calendar time for startups in terms of the time they waste. So that's our main KPI, to save time to startups.
Yeah, that's great. And what would you say are some of the milestones a startup needs to reach before it's mature enough to actually partner with a corporate brand like Seagate?
I would love to say we can work with anyone. It's probably not true. Probably the best success scenario is when a startup approach us when they have uh, two main things. One is the ability to support an enterprise, right? The ability to have people that will try things, will customize. Let's say that there is a solution, we're missing 20% to get to where we need to be. So we can help with like 10%, but still the startup needs to do some kind of customization and support. And the second thing that we're looking at the startup is for the startup to have a clear vision and clear, I would say, stable roadmap. Okay, if they're in a phase, and I'm not talking about funding phase, but in terms of a product phase, which is they're still exploring, let's try this use case, let's try that use case, let's try this architecture, let's try that architecture, then they're not ready to work with an enterprise. It will be a waste of time. But when you have a roadmap that you already got from some initial reference customers, and you know where the product is going and what's going to happen in 6 months, this kind of visibility and transparency is what an enterprise is looking for.
Definitely well said. Question for both of you. How do you see the future of cloud business post-COVID-19? As we know, there's a really a large rise in threats against cloud and data management facilities. And how is this changing the landscape of cloud and data management?
So far, COVID-19 was very good to the cloud business. It's hard to say, but you know, everyone saw Microsoft's announcement on the multi-time, I think 700% increase in some of the cloud usage. When you think about the cloud is well suited for remote work, when a lot of data is generated dynamically and there is a spike in usage. The whole COVID-19 time is framed by uncertainty. Businesses need to move quickly. They need to trim down. They need to scale up very quickly. So the cloud is really the kind of using OpEx versus CapEx approach. The way you can quickly set up new sites or turn them down. This is all cloud talk, right? For us as a data and storage provider, the main thing that is happening, and we're seeing this, is that so much more data is generated, right? The example we are having now, we're having a webinar, and maybe we would have a face-to-face meeting instead of a webinar, but the webinar itself is generating a lot of data, video, and all that kind of, a lot of communication, a lot of data is created, is stored. Again, not nice to say, but the whole pandemic scenario and the difficult times that we're facing is helping the cloud business and will probably continue and help in the future. We're not going to go back to, the cloud business was quite solid before then, but it's only going to improve because of the uncertainty people are facing.
Definitely. Eyal, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think actually moving, we're going to see a lot more businesses moving to the cloud. I think that this period of time is definitely a very strong driver for businesses to move to the cloud. whether they realize that they don't need to manage their operation from their own site, or whether they just are forced to move into a remote working methodology. Whatever the reason, everybody's seeing cloud business becoming bigger and bigger by large order of magnitude. And I think both companies, both Hub Security and Seagate, are among those who are going to enjoy this this change. And if we're referring to how Hub will look at this, will take part of this change, we're seeing quite a lot of enterprises that had some regulatory issues or cyber, let's call it, concerns, moving their business to the cloud. And they've approached Hub Security to try and tackle this. And we are allowing them with our platform to actually operate remotely. And these are those types of businesses that usually are not working in the cloud, usually are typical, traditional, on-prem type of businesses. And this is part of how we are taking part of this change as a company.
Would you mind expanding on what some of those threats are?
So, as we mentioned earlier, there are many organizations that are under constant threats, whether it's, you know, there are very famous studies showing that sovereign nations or, you know, well-funded groups of hackers can get into any banks within 19 minutes and can get into any portion of a bank within this short amount of time. And these organizations are suffering a lot, especially in these days, from hacking attempts, and generally they're being very much focused. They're getting a lot of attention, negative attention from cyber organizations, and we're seeing some of the major reasons for that is that they're using those organizations being, you know, traditional and I wouldn't say, maybe old is not the right terminology, but, you know,
Outdated, maybe.
they exist for a while, so a lot of the infrastructure that they use have not been updated for decades. And the things that that we do at Hub Security is we refresh and disrupt technologies that have been existing and not really changed significantly since late 70s and 80s. And from researches that are published, you know, these are among the main reasons why it's relatively easier for hackers to do whatever they want, basically, with, you know, you can't expect, you know, an organization that is protected with relatively old architecture and solutions to be able to face those modern, sophisticated risks. And these are the things that we work hard to tackle, and these are the things that we work hard with our clients to basically help them out, get modernized, get up to date with the threats that are now driving the market, basically.
Interesting. A follow-up question for Erez would be, how are these threats relevant to Seagate, and how does Seagate tackle them?
So Seagate, Seagate is a household name and it's a huge brand. So it is an attractive target to hackers like any other big company. And we are, of course, handling like any other global company. I think that Seagate also have a unique challenge because its products are actually powering the data sphere and the cloud providers. And so our products also must have the highest level of security. Um, we're looking at the edge as the next place where the cyber war is going to happen. Bless you. Uh, and if you think of how the compute world is going to look, a lot of data is going to be created at the edge and then move to the core. And this supply line of data, if you want, is where hackers will attack. So these are the two main points we want to improve and constantly be on the lookout. Touching on hub security technology, these are two areas where we look at hub security to be able to help us, both as Seagate as a company and us trying to use the technology, but also seeing how hub security can use us secure data that is coming from the edge for our customers.
Really interesting. Eyal, tell me, did you guys have any concerns before partnering with such a big global company? And if so, can you tell us a bit about them?
So, partnering with it's not even a big company, it's a giant company. So partnering with such a large organization has its benefits and has its challenges. But I think that the team at Lyve Labs are being very aggressive and doing their best to help us out maneuvering the organization. And one of the big advantages of a big organization is that there are a lot of ways to use what we have to offer in various ways. And I think because we have good partners, they're doing a lot of work internally to try and help figure out where this can be used and reused and how we can do better. So I think this partnership is exceeding our expectations for that matter, and we're very pleased with where we are.
Have you seen an impact yet from Hub Security's collaboration with the Innovation Center?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who goes into the Lyve Labs can see our servers starring in their new cloud rack, and we'll be happy to demonstrate to anyone what we do, and it's actually really impressive. If you've been to Seagate Lab in Tel Aviv, it's really state of the art, super impressive. It's the amount of effort and thought that was done there is one of a kind.
And I'll just ask a final question to Erez, and then we'll move on to our Q&A. But Erez, what are the objectives for Seagate as an innovation center and leading tech company over the next 2 to 3 years? Do you guys have a vision that you're working towards?
Yeah, so we have a goal of, I want to call it making data cool again. Data challenges is something that we have, and I've been around for a long while, trying to solve all kinds of architecture and infrastructure problems. There were times that managing the amount of data you had was difficult. And then came a time where people didn't have a lot of data, but the computing environment was, easily supporting what you had. We're now in an era where data is exploding. In a recent IDC paper, they said today, the amount of data that is generated every year is it's counted in something called zettabytes. You can look it up. But today, every year, in this year, 40 zettabytes have been generated by the human race. The expectation is that in 4 years, this number will go to 135 zettabytes. So more than 3 times in 4 years will generate more than 3 times of the amount of data we're generating today. And a lot of that is being kept on Seagate hardware. So we would like to make sure that how to manage data, how to secure data is a dialogue that is happening in the Israeli ecosystem. People are talking about it, they understand what are the challenges, and they have the solution at their fingertips, and I would like to lead that conversation. And looking at more tactically, I think like any other innovation center, we would like a Israeli technology to fuel and be the engine and critical component in Seagate's next wave of edge and private cloud product line. So if we have a huge product line coming out of Seagate that is relying on Israeli technologies as its engine, I'll be very happy. And we're working very hard towards that. And I would like actually to call out and say to anyone that listens, if you feel that your technology can be integrated with Seagate's products or can be used by Seagate itself and can fuel Seagate's next line of products, please get in touch with us. We will help you. We will try to find quickly if what you have is useful. We will not waste your time, but if this is something that makes sense, we will make sure it happens.
Thank you both, Erez and Eyal. These are all super fascinating topics. I'm so glad we had time to cover all of them today with you. We're very grateful that you could take the time to flesh them out for us and tell us more about Seagate's new Lyve Labs initiative. Now I'd like to just take the opportunity to open the floor to our attendees. Anyone who might have a question, feel free to drop it in the Q&A section below, or if you can't find it, put it in the chat, that's fine. We'll try to get to it.
I had one question asked directly to me, so maybe
go ahead.
So Pascal asked how to get in touch with us. So it's very easy. We do have a LinkedIn page. You can drop a message there. If you just look up in LinkedIn, Lyve Labs Israel. Lyve is with a Y, not with an I. There is a huge story around that. I won't tell it now. But look for Lyve Labs Israel and drop us a line over there, or simply, our offices are smack in the middle of Tel Aviv. So also we are very approachable, and we actually went back to business. The office is open and we're available.
And what does the process look like when a new young startup approaches you? What kind of vetting process do they go through?
So it depends on what kind of category we look at them. So we look at basically 3 categories, and they have different processes. The first category is whether this startup might be offering a product for Seagate as a customer. Seagate is a big enterprise. It has needs. It needs products in all its operations, from HR to marketing to sales to analytics to IT. So one kind of startup that we work with is startup just simply come to us and says, can Seagate be our customer? And this is a very simple process. We basically find the right champion within Seagate, and we connect, and we allow the startup a fair hearing of their solution to the internal Seagate customer. The other option is someone that comes and say, I have a technology that can be integrated into Seagate products. And this is a more complex scenario. But still, we make it very, very simple. We find quickly if there is a place to do a POC. We do the POC in our own lab, do the integration or whatever is needed, and present this together. Also help the startup publish this, help with public relations, and publishing of white papers. So we are also helping the startup in communicating what they're doing with us. And actually, Hub Security is in that category. And the last thing we look at startups is startups that have data challenges. Let's say you're a small AI startup and you are excellent in deep models of vision or language or whatever, but your system is generating a lot of data. You're not sure how to protect it, how to certify, how to comply with privacy, how to create a system that is cost effective for you, and you don't end up paying millions for storage, all these kind of things. We can help these companies architect and create a solution that works best for them.
Do you have an example of a successful partnership, a success story that you've had to date with any companies? I know you guys have only launched in February, so maybe it's a bit, idealistic, but if you have any success stories to share, then that would be great.
Right now we have about 5 POCs running. It's a bit early to share. We just launched in February, but as soon as we have the information, one of the things we're doing with startup, we are happy to talk about it, as you can see. So the moment we have anything to share, we'll do that gladly.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. If anyone has any other questions before we wrap it up, I'll give you a minute to type it out. But otherwise, thank you everybody for joining us today, and thank you to our speakers, Erez, Baum, and Eyal, Moshe. We hope that you're all staying safe at home, and we look forward to hosting many more discussions like these. Thank you to our speakers. You're invited to learn more about Lyve Labs under LinkedIn, under Lyve Labs Israel, and feel free to reach out to them to learn more about their initiative and see if maybe your company would be a good candidate for a successful partnership with the new Innovation Center. And to stay updated on upcoming webinars, follow Hub Security on LinkedIn and Twitter so you don't miss a beat. And you can also check out Hub's weekly digest on Medium for the latest stories coming out from the blockchain, crypto, and cloud sphere. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we will leave the chat open, we'll leave the discussion open a bit more. If you guys have anything else you want to share, feel free to send it in the chat box below. Stay safe and stay healthy, stay inside, and we will see you next week.